To you.
Good morning.
Get the mic,
Good morning.
Mic on this
Teasing
one.
the nice weather that we're having, but it's still overcast and gray outside.
Yeah, and it's even harder to tell with our windows. Casey was just as he was leaving, he goes, "Man, it's dark out there."
And then you go out and it's like
He
you're
goes, "Well,
squinting.
the tinted windows
It's not
is what gets you.
as dark, but the drizzle it's hitting you as you're walking over.
We have got some. So, is this these business plans and this competition?
Mm-hmm.
You got what, high school kids doing your job for you, or what's
Pretty much. It's always good to find the talent to really help you out.
Sure. What do you got for us?
So it's our fifth annual business plan competition that we put on with the Shelton School District.
Yeah.
And they've got an amazing business teacher, Jane Mahoney, over at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
And she, it was brought to us to kind of build by Pat Cusack, but Jane really is kind of the power behind it. She's the one who motivates the students to make sure that they want to present to judges, because that's probably one of the harder things to do. Is you can do all the paperwork, you can get all the business plan all set up and you can submit it, but getting in front of somebody and actually justifying what it is that you're doing and the decisions that you've made, and kind of, because the judges are interactive, we've encouraged them to really talk. The first couple of years we had a judge on there that the students, he wore the same blazer every time, and the students would always say, "Watch out for the guy in the green blazer. He is hard." So you get that interaction, and it's a good experience, because that's a little bit more like what an actual bank is going to do. If you can't justify the spending, if you can't justify where that money is going to go, the bank is not going to lend to you.
That's what I was wondering. That's the first thing that popped into my mind when you go do these presentations. This is what you would have to do if you were really going to do this. So how's the day? How much lead up is there, and then what's the day like for these kids?
We pick the actual time in the school calendar that Jane is teaching the class, so it fluctuates. We've had it in the late summer, we've had it in the fall, we've had it in the spring, so it just really moves around on where they've scheduled her class. And she spends, it is that class period is them working on these business plans, so really kind of finding a business that they think is actually viable for our area, something that they're still passionate about. There was, I want to say, the first or second year where we had like 4 subway plans because that company kind of has that business plan moving forward, and you just kind of have to fit it into your community somehow. But as we've moved forward and that idea has taken on that this could be anything, unless you're extremely passionate about Subway, feel free to bring that forward. But there are a lot of other restaurant ideas that you can do that are needed in the community. There's a lot of other craft ideas that you can do, product ideas. Our winner this year was a gutter business.
Oh,
She called it Kathy Shoemate, and I apologize, I don't know if I'm saying the names right. All Angles Continuous Gutters, and her family has been in the gutter industry. Sure. That's a weird way to put that. In the construction industry that focuses specifically on gutters. So she had both the passion and the knowledge behind it to really make it a viable business.
How often do you go in and or do you talk with the kids, or is it mostly Miss Mahoney up there with the teaching? And are there ever times where you would dissuade some kid from an idea, saying, no.
Well, even on a community whole, when we have people that stop in and talk about a product, the thing, if they can't make money from it, or if they can't sustain the business, it's usually something that occurs to them as we're talking with them. So I wouldn't say that we discourage, but we really encourage the research that you need to do. If yours is a product that relies on maybe a supply chain that's more expensive than that one thing is that's going to sell, then you need to figure out how to get into that supply chain for the bigger product that potentially it's going to. So really figuring out if it's an actual viable viable business is it's not something I'm going to sit and research for you, because me telling you that it's not going to work, in your head, you're just going to say,
Yeah, right.
yeah, it is. I know it is.
I'll show you.
It's gonna totally work.
Well, they told Colonel Sanders his chicken won't work out, and look at him.
Right?
You
Look at
tell
him.
those kind of stories? Those
We
kind
do.
of
We've got-
listen,
we've got-
Edison does
yeah.
a million light bulbs or something.
And there are those innovations, but they do have to find their own audience and their own home for it. So if you, the business owner, are doing that outreach, that research, that let me find that niche audience that I need to become the next KFC, then that's when you're going to be more engaged in the delivering of your best product. Yeah.
I was at the chamber luncheon last week. It was education in Mason County, and they were talking about all the different ways after high school. You know, there was a lot of push for college, and now it's kind of starting to move its way back to community college, trade school, certification types of things. Are these the types of businesses that you would need to go get your MBA at wherever you go to get an MBA? Or is this something that out of high school, if someone has a sound plan, and I'm sure that would then be like an A on the project, that they would think to get into it right away? And then is there help from groups like the EDC on that kind of stuff?
There's definitely local help. In any community, you've got small business development centers, you have SCORE counselors that are there specifically to help you develop out your business plan. I think really the viability and what you need for schooling is really going to depend on what it is that you're trying to sell. If you're wanting to build your own medical practice, yes, please go to school.
Please.
You need that medical background.
Okay.
But I will caveat that doctor is going to need somebody who actually runs the office,
Sure.
because they're going to be focused on other things. So depending on how technical your business is, or how specific, if you're doing something that requires heavy engineering skills, then chances are that you're going to need to be doing some. That it can't start until you finished the degree, absolutely not. You can start while going to school. You can start the building of these products. You can do that at any time. But there are some that, and I do like that education really is focusing on those different opportunities in a more evenly distributed way, because it was so college focused
Yeah.
that now you hear anything within the trades and people kind of scoff at it. But it is an amazing opportunity to grow your career, to sometimes even make more than what you would make going through college, and then you don't have that debt. So really looking at what it is that you want to do, and kind of just really find a mentor, somebody who's been in that industry. They'll be able to really shout you out. Not to say that once your company, goes Fortune 500, that you're not going to need some of those people that have that education in specific areas.
Yeah.
But to start out, you can do it right now.
Has this been going on a long time? And I ask because I wonder if whether or not either kids who graduated and moved out of the area, or stuck in the area but have taken these plans, dusted them off, and re-looked at them, and maybe gone with them. Have you heard any of those stories?
We are on our 5th year, so we haven't had any. Yes, we've actually completed our business. We've brought it to Mason County, or we've started it elsewhere. But I think you'll start to see those in the next couple of years. Quite a few of those had planned to go to college. So
Try that out.
yeah, that's a great suggestion. I'll have to kind of link back with Jane and see if we can do some follow-up on some of them.
Cool. Jennifer, good to see you. Mason County EDC. The offices are just right up the road from us at 310 West Coda. You can also find them at choosemason.org, and we'll get the links in the show notes.
Wonderful.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you for having
Take
me.
care.
I appreciate it.